Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I'm Elisa. I'm going to start with this Mystical Shaman Oracle. I do want to remind you that the monthly I'm giving, there's a monthly reading giveaway. And this month it's the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot, which I'll be featuring a little bit later. But I'm going to start out with Mystical Shaman Oracle, which is my favorite deck. This is the giveaway for, I think it was July? No. Yeah, but it just took forever. Like, she just got the deck, like, yesterday, because it had to go to India, and it just took forever. So anyways, I'm excited it finally made it there, and hopefully she'll like it as much as I do. I love this deck. So yeah, I'm going to pull a couple cards from this deck to start the reading. Oh my gosh. All right, so at the bottom we have the Sacrifice. So this is a card of like having to sort of like, part of like transformation is sort of making an offering to the universe, and so it's just sort of like you have to give up something that's important to you often to like make room for whatever the next evolution is going to be, and so there's like this is an act of faith, because it's like you're giving up something really important, but knowing and trusting and having faith in the universe that's going to be transformed into something even more profound, so this is just like an act of faith, but working with the universe, and like, people talk about just like giving it up to God, because you're trusting in that evolution, but from the cards, it looks like this is actually going to be a good outcome. So we got the Corn, the Crow, and Beauty Way. So this is really, good. This is a card of abundance, and of like manifesting abundance, like coming into your harvest, This is a card of the truth and being in alignment with the truth. And this card just came out in a reading recently, which I will link above. And then this card is a card of just like being in like a state of flow, and just knowing that everything that you need is going to come to you as you need it. And, you're just in like totally in synchronicity, So it's like maybe you had to give up, like for me, like I recently had to move somewhere new, I'm taking care of my mom. It's not the life that I had planned for myself, but like, just been like going through this like transition, of like, what's this gonna be? Like, this isn't what I was planning, but life happens and you have to adapt, and so like it's like sort of like this new way things are gonna be is starting to like come online, and so it's like I had to give up sort of like my idea of how life was supposed to be. But now it's like this sort of like new life is being served up, and it's like really cool, because it's just sort of like I put these intentions out there and they're coming back to me now in ways that like I didn't necessarily expect, but it's a good thing, sometimes when you just let things go, they come back to you better than you could have imagined, and it could be that like that was part of what needed to evolve about your perception of things, because there actually was a better way out there, but you just weren't seeing it because you were like stuck in whatever, belief system or how you thought things were supposed to be. But this card of the Truth, it's just like, this is a really powerful card, because it's like when you are in alignment with the truth, you're like building a stable foundation, so it's just sort of like you're co-creating with the universe, when you're in alignment with the truth. I think this is a big thing that holds people back. It's just sort of like maybe you're in a situation where you're having to like walk on eggshells around like someone who's like not in alignment with the truth, you know, and this is a real problem, you know, because it's sort of like makes everything kind of be stuck, and it's like you can't tell the truth about how things really are, and it like keeps things from moving on and adapting and evolving in the way that they're supposed to, and it like blocks abundance, you know, from happening, because ultimately if you want to be in a state of abundance, you have to be in a state of flow, you know, you have to be open to like the flow of the universe and what's like coming to you. And I mean, that's really, I mean, that's what the whole thing is about, you know. It's not about like how much stuff you have. It's about being able to just trust that you're in alignment, you know. And it's a different way of being. It's kind of like, you know, like surfing, you know, but for life. So I mean, it's interesting because all the cards leading up to this reading have been all about like, you know, starting to sort of embrace the world from this new perch, like this new perspective, and it's this perspective of abundance, you know. And really it's like all about not being stuck, you know. I mean, that's basically in the simplest terms, like that's the whole thing, you know. And if there's stuff in your life that is stuck, or you know, you can't tell the truth, or you know, there's something in your life that's like blocking the truth, or like aren't able to adapt, you know, that like that's gonna block your abundance, you know. And that's like, it's got to be addressed, you know. And you know, I think that's kind of like what all the drama of late has been about in the reading, is just sort of having to like remove the obstacles of just like basically something that's not in alignment with the truth. Okay, so we got Hanged Muse, the Moon, and the Knight of Materials. So this is interesting because, you know, this is kind of like the Sacrifice card. You know, it's a card of perspective and taking a step back and like knowing that you're going to have to like give something up to evolve into like, you know, who you want to be. And it's interesting how these cards kind of match, you know. It falls right under this card of abundance, you know. It's like you're going to have to give something up, you know. But then we have the Moon, which, you know, this is a card totally of the emotional realm, you know. And it's just sort of like right underneath this card of the truth. So it's just like when your emotions are in alignment with the truth and you're putting that intention out there, you know, like your intentions are exactly how powerful your emotion that is attached to that intention is, you know. So it's like if you're really passionate and putting a really clear intention out, you know, that's in alignment with the truth, like that's really powerful. That's a very powerful manifestation, you know. I mean, that's as powerful as it gets, you know. So this really speaks to like a very powerful manifestation. And it's interesting because there's this moon and this moon, you know, and it's like this person is in alignment with the truth, you know. We're like in full power, full emotion, like this person is like making it happen, you know. And then we have the Knight of Materials, which this is a card of like slow and steady wins the race, you know. This is like the slowest moving knight in the deck, but like this knight builds things that last, you know. It's just like it lays a solid foundation, you know. So we're in alignment with the truth. We're in flow, like things are coming to us as we need them, and we're building actually a really solid foundation moving forward. This is like really like things are starting to open up, you know. And at the bottom of this deck, it's interesting because we got the Three of Pentacles, which is a card of like putting down a solid foundation, which is totally what I was just talking about. This deck is the Golden Art Nouveau deck, which is the deck which featuring for the September monthly. I should mention that if you're interested in entering that giveaway, there's a September monthly reading. It's like an overall for the whole month, and that's where the sort of giveaway is located, and it's on the main page of the channel. I'll link it here too. But the main reading for the month was Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, you know, so it's basically like kind of what I was talking about, like removing this obstruction, this obstacle. It's not in alignment with the truth. And then things open up, you know, and so this reading is talking about kind of like the moment when things open up, you know. At the bottom we have the Fool, which is just like taking a leap of faith into this whole new world, you know. I mean, that's what that card is, you know. And so we have the Nine of Cups, the King of Cups, and we have the Tower. So wow, I mean, this is a card of wishes coming true. Like, we're making the sacrifice, you know, but we're stepping into abundance and wishes coming true, you know, and doing that. And then we have the King of Cups. So this is someone who's like fully in command of their emotions, you know. And it's interesting because I was talking about this just being full manifestation potential, you know, because it's like all this emotion is in total alignment with the truth, and that's like how you make things happen. I mean, in the simplest terms, like, this is it, you know. And we have the King of Cups right under that, which is, you know, that is someone who is totally in their power. They figured out how to channel their emotions to manifest things, you know, which is basically kind of what those two cards mean. And that falls on top of that, just like doubling that message, you know. And then we have, you know, this building this solid foundation by like being in a state of flow, you know. And we have the Tower that's falling on top of that. So I don't know if this Tower is removing this obstruction. Like, I'm not sure, you know. I'm going to keep going. So on the next row, we've got the Ace of Swords. We've got the Two of Pentacles, and we've got the Six of Pentacles. So this is really interesting, because this is a card of the truth, you know, which this also is a card of the truth. So, you know, this is and the whole reading is all about stepping into your power by being in alignment with the truth, you know. So it's just sort of like coming into alignment with what you really want, you know. And how powerful is that, you know? And then we have this is a card of juggling, you know, and it kind of like a little bit of like an inner conflict, you know, which is a thing that like actually will clog up your manifestation. Like, if you're kind of juggling stuff, like, I mean, that's going to clog up the pipes, you know. So it's interesting that that falls right on top of all this power, you know, and focus, you know. And then there's like a little bit of like a conflict about it. But then we have this Tower moment, you know, where it's just sort of like, it's like we're breaking through. There was a reading recently called Break On Through the Other Side, you know, where it's just sort of like things are coming into balance. Like, this is a card of balance between giving and receiving. So whatever obstruction that was blocking this flow and blocking this solid foundation, that's blowing up right now. Like, this is going down. So that's interesting. It's like, yeah, I mean, whatever this truth is, I mean, there's like a lot of emotion that's happening with this truth coming out, but like, that's what's gonna blow this thing up and like open up this functional new world from coming online. And then at the bottom, I have the Awakening, which is a card of karma and a card of reckoning, you know. So it's just like, it's time for this to happen. I'm going to Muse to pick 3 more cards of guidance for how we're going to move through this moment, because it looks like really climactic, and like, so, you know, there's a false reality that's getting blown up, and it's dramatic. It's really dramatic, but it's going to relieve a lot of pressure and allow some really good things to start happening. Yeah, so at the bottom we have 10 of Voices. So this is just like the end of suffering. So whatever blockage it was, like, it's getting blown up. Like, we're going forward, you know. And so then we have the 7 of Emotions, the Empress, and we have the 10 of Emotions. This is so cool. It's just like, this is a card of confusion and of just having all these choices, you know. And it's like right on top of this, like, truth and this wish coming true, and like having to make this sacrifice so that we can step into our abundance. And this was like all about just cutting out like the confusion, you know, like that's kind of like what splinters off all of your energy, you know, like if you want to make something happen, like you got to be focused with your intentions and be in alignment with the truth, you know. So like whatever is causing that to dissipate, that's going away, and this is giving way to this whole new world. Like this is the Empress, like this is giving birth to the whole new world. Like this Empress can make anything happen. Like she's totally in her power, you know, like she knows what to do. Like she knows what it's about, you know, like she knows how to channel her emotions and like make something happen, you know. So whatever inner conflict or, you know, that was blocking this, like it's getting moved aside, you know, and we're stepping into like total fulfillment. Like that's what this card is, you know. Blockages be gone. We're going into a whole new era, and this is looking really good. It's looking really promising. Okay, I'm going to go to the Starseed Oracle to pick maybe one card, maybe two cards for the end of this reading. While I'm shuffling, I just want to remind you I'm doing this ketone. I'm making my plug for the ketones. So this is a supplement that I've been taking, and it's like, it's like really blowing things up for me, because like it's, okay, sorry, I got disrupted. I'm not even actually sure where I was exactly, but I think I was talking about ketones and how I've been having this profound healing experience. It's just like, it's cellular, you know, healing, just like more energy, just causing this profound healing crisis. Like I'm detoxing all these wounds from ever, and hold on, I'm being, okay, sorry, I keep getting disrupted. But yeah, super healing. It basically catalyzes a shift from from carb burning to fat burning metabolism. And I posted some links to some videos about it in the description if you want to find out more about it. So anyways, I went to the Starseed Oracle to pick some cards in the reading. I ended up taking 3. So I remember Soul Plan, the Fated Life versus the Destiny Life. Which I think is really, you know, aligned with the message of this reading, which is all about co-creating with the universe, being in alignment with the truth, and sort of being in the state of flow and abundance, you know. And that's kind of basically when you're co-creating with the universe and you're living out your destiny instead of just sort of like living the life that sort of happens to you, you know, like you're actually living from the inside out instead of the outside in, we'll say. So this card kind of speaks to that sort of way of being, you know. And then we have loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density, addiction, and let God in, you know, which I think is a similar message, you know. It's just sort of like having faith and sacrificing something that's important to you, but letting it be transformed, you know, letting go and letting God, you know. And that's kind of what this card is about, you know. It's and that's, you kind of have to surrender, you know, to that outcome. And then we have Earth, which is learning to be human and in the world and not of it, you know. And so this speaks to this sort of challenge between sort of like transcendence and immanence, and, you know, being in this sort of metaphysical transcendent state versus like living in the earth and like the physical plane, you know. And it's like we're always in this state of flux, you know, between those two polarities, you know. And this is a card of sort of finding a place of balance within that, you know, for yourself. I mean, I know for myself, like I tend to be like way up in the stars sometimes, and like not necessarily grounded down to the earth. And you know, they talk about how that's kind of like the star seed, the path of the star seed. But this is a card about finding balance there. So being in this state of flow, this beautiful way. So this looks like the beginning of a really beautiful stage and evolution of life, and I'm really inspired by this, and excited for what can unfold, because this is a very what would you call it, like it's just a super nutritious way of being in the world, and like only good things can come of this like state of being, it looks like, you know. So this is the beginning of something marvelous, you know. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and we'll check in soon with another reading.